equals the rain fell steadily, filtering through the towering trees that formed a sheltering canopy over the narrow path. It had rained for days, and now the earth was sodden, drenched in a melancholy that hung heavily in the air. Abby trudged through the damp underbrush, her thoughts as murky as the puddles that mirrored her troubled mind. She had come to this secluded glen to escape, but it felt oppressive, the silence punctuated only by the occasional rustle of leaves or the distant call of a solitary bird. The evening light dwindled, seeping through the clouds like the last embers of hope flickering in her heart. As she stumbled across a fallen branch, the crack echoed in the stillness, and for a fleeting moment, she felt the imprints of past choices tightening around her throat. It had been a warm, sunlit afternoon when she had made her fateful decision. The laughter of her friends had echoed in the air behind her as they gathered around the bonfire, oblivious to the storm brewing inside her. The thrill of the moment, the desire to fit in, had pressed her to act against her better judgment. A whisper of daring in her ear urged her to join a game that felt innocuous at first, a simple test of loyalty. But loyalty, she would learn, had a deeply veined darkness. The memory came flooding back like an unwelcome tide, dragging her under into the depths of agony. It was the moment the dare had taken a sharp turn, the moment that a life had hung precariously on her decision. As she had pushed Alex, her once best friend, into divulging a secret that was never hers to exploit, the air felt electric, and laughter turned to gasps. The shock was palpable, but it paled in comparison to the resolve that followed. The betrayal brought with it unspoken consequences, leading to Alex's withdrawal, his laughter replaced by furtive glances and bitter silence. Abby shook her head, trying to rid herself of the nausea that accompanied the recollection. Yet denial was a poor shield. Guilt liked to burrow deep, gnawing at her mind, digging channels of regret in the still waters of her conscience. Weeks turned to months, but the fracture she had caused continued to expand. She could feel it resonating in the void where their friendship used to thrive. Every missed call, every silence stretched longer than a night without stars deepened the rift she had carved. In her mind, the tenets of her act became a Greek tragedy unraveling before her. Guilt rooted itself and grew vibrant, while the vestiges of happiness wilted like autumn leaves. Amidst the chill of this introspection, Abby found herself stepping into Alex's world, now filled with whispers, now shrouded in shadows. With every interaction, she felt the pulse of the underlying resentment he masked behind tired smiles. Every time she consoled him, an unbridgeable gulf widened, and her attempts at redemption morphed into a grotesque parody of affection. Crawling back into his good graces felt more like infiltrating an impenetrable fortress. Abby sat on a damp stone at the edge of the glen as dusk inched towards night, feeling the dread settle in her bones. A sudden movement caught her attention, a figure emerging through the trees. It was Alex. Their eyes met in that moment, and all the drunken bravado she had soaked herself in seemed to drain away, leaving her exposed and vulnerable. "What do you want, Abby?" he asked, the bitterness staining every syllable. His voice bore the weight of betrayal, a vessel of unspoken hurt. She opened her mouth to speak, but the words failed her. Instead, she felt the silence wrap around her like a shroud, thick and heavy. I've been so selfish," she finally managed, her voice trembling against the encroaching wind. "I never meant to hurt you." He took a step back, the distance between them fraught with the pain of memories. "You have no idea what I lost, what you took from me," he replied, a raw edge slicing through his tone. It was a reckoning she had shied away from, and there it stood before her now, inevitable, ugly. With that, the weight of her actions washed over her, as potent as the rain falling from above. She felt the threads of guilt entwining around her heart, suffocating her with the truth of her moral failure. Abby was trapped. Within her, the conflict roared its desperate claim, a battle against the very nature of her being, revealing how ephemeral redemption could be. As they stood there, in the cleft of twilight, the possibilities of what could have been lingered between them, an ethereal path now overgrown and forgotten. Abby knew she could not undo her choices, but the silence that hung heavily felt like a loaded gun. In this moment of confrontation, who would pay the ultimate price?